Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Welcome everybody to I'll Hang Up and Listen. I am Duane, the host of Two Goalies, One Mic. Sabres with a huge win tonight against Vancouver in Vancouver during Sabres After Dark, 10 p.m. start Eastern Standard Time, 3-2 in overtime. Had to keep everybody up just a little bit later, but it was worth the finish. Rasmus Dahlin with an absolute highlight reel goal to end the game. I won't lie. There were bits and parts. I had a hockey game myself tonight, so I was a little gassed. I fell asleep for maybe like a half a period tonight, but caught the most important parts definitely there at the end. Seeing Dahlin really put this team on his back, as I tweeted out earlier, and lead this team to victory. And let's just talk about him for a second before we get into the particulars of the game. Rasmus Dahlin has really started to emerge as the player we all expected him to be when we drafted him first overall. You literally saw him take over a game tonight and put his skill sets on full display. And it's wild because not even, 2 months ago, there were people in Sabres land that wanted him gone, that wanted him traded, that couldn't stand him. And I've always been an avid Rasmus Dahlin defender. I've always thought he was special. He's a great talent, and not a guy that you should just want to rush and think that he should be Nick Lindstrom right away. It's that's not how it goes, especially with defensemen. They just take longer to develop, especially on a team where you're not really built to win right now. You're built to compete, yeah, maybe, but you weren't built to win. You have a lot of guys making the league minimum on this team, and how can you judge players that you expect to be a part of your future solely on when you're on a team that's, again, not built to be a playoff team, not built to sustain long-term success? The season was about individual development, and again, we've seen, especially since the All-Star break, Rasmus Dahlin play with a type of swagger that we haven't seen in Buffalo for a very long time. And, we saw, bits and pieces of it with Jack Eichel. I mean, people don't want to talk about him, but, that's a guy who played with a ton of swagger in Buffalo, a guy who played with confidence, and a guy who could literally take over games. Well, we're starting to see that from Rasmus Dahlin, and it's super, super exciting. And some of the things he had to say in the post game too were also very exciting. Spoken like a true leader on this hockey team. And, one of the things after, we saw Casey Middlestat get Buffalo on the board first tonight during the post game. Casey even said, and that was a guy who really also needed to get on the board too, is Casey. You see a smile in the post game, and after he scores the goal, he's a guy that you expect a lot more from. Hasn't been able to stay healthy this year, dealing with so many injuries, and to really see him open scoring the way he did, cut up the middle, split the D, and score a goal. Pretty much one-on-one with Thatcher Demko. It wasn't a breakaway, but he just picked his spot and scored on a beautiful wrist shot, and to put Buffalo up 1-0 pretty early in this game. A guy who definitely needed that. He definitely needed that to get himself going. And this is Casey Middlestat in the post game on Rasmus Dahlin. He's one of my best friends, and I'm extremely happy for him. It was on his goal on Dahlin's goal in overtime. and my opinion is this team has finally been, they're bought in together. They're a family and they're playing for one another. And like soon enough, they'll be playing for us too. Every single night, they'll be playing for the people who pay their hard-earned money for the cost of a ticket to come watch them play. And that's really what we wanted for such a long time here in Buffalo, is a team that's going to play for us and know how much this means to a team that knows how much this means to us. And because they know how much this means to us, they're going to go out there and exert everything on the ice to win for us. And that's what we've wanted in Buffalo for such a long time. Have a comment here from Kyle Cool. What a game. Absolutely love this team right now. The effort alone is something we haven't seen in years. Well, actually, I'm bringing it up right now. Sorry. What a game. Absolutely love this team right now. The effort alone is something we haven't seen in years. These guys want to play together and for the city, and it's just so amazing to see. Couldn't agree with you more, Kyle. And again, guys, if you want to join in the conversation, just subscribe to our YouTube, Two Goalies One Mic on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. You can join in the conversation and leave comments there. I appreciate them. Hit a like. Make sure you hit the like on this video. Leave a comment just like Kyle just did, and let me know what you guys think. Always appreciate the support, and obviously it helps us in the long run too. But yeah, I can't explain how excited I am. It's refreshing to see a team play for one another and play, for this fan base, and the smiles and the celebration. It's not just coming from one player anymore, or maybe one or two players. It's coming from everybody. You've seen this reemergence of guys like Kyle Okposo, who's finally healthy and playing to the best of his abilities and really taking on a leadership role on this team, and is finally worth, in my opinion, that $6.5 million contract. And he shows it every night there on the ice. Maybe not every night on the score sheet, but in so many other areas, and not to mention off the ice in the locker room. Helping build this culture that we've lacked in Buffalo for such a very, very, very long time. One of the things that Dahlin said in his post game too that really stood out to me is we're protecting each other. We're not backing down anymore. We love to compete and we never give up. And that was on competing in tight games over and over again and coming out on top. That sounds like a leader to me when you hear Dahlin say something like that. It's again, not things that we've heard from individual players on this team in a long time. And even when they're losing as of late, granted, you take away that 6-1 loss against Ottawa. I'm sorry, not Ottawa, Edmonton. And, where they were on the highest of highs leading into that. Sometimes the old saying is you don't ever want to get too high. You never want to get too low. They got smacked, sure. But, to come back in the next two games, a 1-0 win where they grinded out a win against Calgary, 1-0, or Dustin Tokarski played on his head. And then tonight against the Canucks, where you get the 3-2 victory in overtime, and just, they come right back out after losing a tough one against Edmonton, 6-1, where you got dominated. And to play this way really speaks to the culture that's being built in Buffalo by Don Granato, Rasmus Dahlin, Alex Tuck, Dylan Cousins. I just love hearing these players talk about each other, and they smile, and you could just tell there's a tight knit family there. And again, something that this team has lacked for a very, very long time. Just to go over scoring in this game too, real quick. Dahlin with a goal and assist, a multi-point night. Same thing with Casey Middlestat, goal and assist, a multi-point night. Colin Miller had a nice assist. I believe it was on the Middlestat goal. Obviously, a guy we kind of look at to possibly be on the trade block before the 3 p.m. trade deadline tomorrow. So we'll see with Colin Miller. I think the right-handed shot defense will probably be dealt. Victor Olofsson had himself a decent game with an assist tonight. Another guy being rumored to possibly on the trade block. I tweeted out earlier today. I have a feeling. It's just a hunch. It's not a feeling. It's not like I'm not hearing anything. This isn't like me trying to be an insider. I just have a feeling that maybe that Victor Olofsson will be dealt tomorrow because, again, I just don't see him being part of the long-term solution in Buffalo. He's a very perimeter shooter, power play specialist guy. And outside of that, he doesn't give you any more type of any other dynamic to your game for the Sabres and or any type of different dimension to your game. He's a guy who shoots on the perimeter. If he went to the net and kind of tried to score goals, maybe the way that you see a Jeff Skinner does, maybe I feel a little bit different, but he doesn't really do that. Maybe if he get bought in to do that more often, I would feel differently. But, that's not the type of player Victor Olofsson is, which is fine. I just don't see that being part of the long-term solution in Buffalo. So him with the assist tonight, good for him. But I got a feeling that maybe he could be dealt tomorrow. Again, I'm not hearing anything. It's just a feeling. Jeff Skinner getting a goal. Nice to see him get back in the score sheet first time in 7 games. Tage Thompson with an assist. And then Alex Tuck with the primary assist on the Rasmus Dahlin overtime winner. And then Craig Anderson with 30 saves on 32 shots. Another great game from Craig. Guy is really, people tend to say that, well, is Craig going to get dealt tomorrow? Is he a guy that, we're going to ship off to a team that might need a goaltender? I don't know. I've been a pretty big advocate of wanting to keep Craig. But I mean, I'll never say no in a situation as to which Buffalo's in, where you're trying to get as many assets as you can to further this rebuild. And maybe Craig Anderson is part of that. But I'm starting to think that maybe what his presence in that locker room adds, it maybe benefits more than what he would get back in a trade, depending on what the trade return would be. I value that guy in this locker room. I really, really, really do. But again, maybe a team's willing to pay overpay for a goaltender of his capability. I don't know, but he's played so well for this team this season. He's had a few games here and there where maybe he didn't cost you the game, but he maybe gave up a couple weak goals. But judging this team on paper, if you're going to tell me that you'd have a goalie like Craig who could have possibly a winning record and a decent goals against, pretty much is what he's given Buffalo all year, I would have told you you're crazy at 40 years old. Not possible. But Craig has played so well for this team, so we'll see what happens with him tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not for trading Craig Anderson unless the return is absolutely outrageous. Getting on the score sheet for the Canucks, JT Miller, a guy whose name has been mentioned quite a bit in trade talks in the weeks leading up to this deadline tomorrow. Goal and assist. Connor Garland with an assist. Bo Horvat, captain, a guy whose name has always kind of been out there, as a guy they might want to move on from. Their captain with a goal. Quinn Hughes with an assist. Luke Shen, who we've heard a lot in trade rumors too, a big defenseman. Veteran defenseman to making league minimum. A guy I could possibly see maybe getting dealt with an assist tonight too. So, and then I have Thatcher Demko with 26 saves and 29 shots against. Gets the loss tonight against Buffalo. Another comment from Taylor Cousins. Overall was a great game. Absolutely, Tyler. Absolutely was a great game. Start to finish, this team battled. There were a few moments where they're on their heels a little bit, but they never really lost their composure. They get the early lead. Vancouver comes back, ties it up. And then, Skinner goes and gets the second goal, puts Buffalo back up out in front, and then they come back and tie it. You never really felt like watching that Buffalo was in danger of losing that game. And, Craig Anderson came up huge quite a few times to bail Buffalo out when they did have a few lapses in their own end and kept them right in it. And then obviously you could just see it with Dahlin as this game went on that he was going to do something. And then obviously with all that extra space and overtime, he got that puck and he literally, there were 2 different sequences where Dahlin, had the puck and you felt that he was going to score or lead to the eventual do something that would lead to the game-winning goal. And he got the puck at the blue line. He brought it back into his own zone, wrapped it around behind his own net, and then just went end to end. Again, with all that open ice, dropped it off the tuck, went in deep behind the net, set the pass up to Dahlin, and then Dahlin found some open ice up in the middle and didn't miss. Went 5-hole, and the rest, is history, I guess. And I love the celebration too, the excitement. You don't see that type of excitement maybe a lot, especially on a team that's not going to be in the postseason. Just the way he celebrated and just the emotions that this team has shown for each other in such a very, I don't want to call this a disappointing season because we all knew what this was going in. This is going to be a season about really developing individual players. Tonight being another example with Dahlin. But to see them celebrate the way they are and then talk about each other in the post game, I think that right there is, speaks to the development of this team throughout the course of the season, in a season that's been just kind of overshadowed by a lot of negative headlines, between Sam Reinhart leaving, Jack Eichel leaving, and, all these other names, kind of like these headlines that have kind of negatively overshadowed this season and maybe some of the high moments like tonight. But, I really feel that, especially after that, you finally got to that March 10th game against Jack Eichel, the Golden Knights. You went and you won that game, and you've really left that guy in your rearview mirror, and you're moving on. So, nothing but positive things going forward, and building off the momentum of those 2 wins against, again, I keep going back to those. I think those are really franchise-altering wins, the Vegas Golden Knights win, and then the Heritage Classic win against the Leafs, where you saw this team really dominate the Toronto Maple Leafs in the outdoor game. And the way that game finished with everybody, the Dylan Cousins, Michael Bunting thing after the Dylan Cousins hit on Matthews, and just Matthews, or Bunting going after Cousins, and Cousins, sticking up for himself and his teammates. I think I want to say he was even sticking up for, remind me if I'm wrong in the count, I think he was sticking up for Dahlin, something that happened earlier in the game. I can't quite remember. It is like 1:46 in the morning, so my memory is a little shot. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, too, out there. It's a little late to that one, but happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. But, it was Cousins going head-to-head with Bunting, having to be separated. And you see Dylan Cousins waiting off the ice because he wasn't going to the locker room. He was going to celebrate with his team. It was pretty cool. It reminded me a lot of, travel hockey, or just, travel hockey or junior hockey. You see guys when they get kicked out of a game, or instead of going to the room, they sit on the boards and wait for their team and watch from outside the rink. That's kind of reminiscent of that, and it was really cool to see. And I think those 2 wins are very franchise altering wins, and you've seen it in the game since. Absolutely just been fun to watch. But with that being said, again, it's getting a little late here. Well, again, 1:47 in the morning. I appreciate you guys hopping on with me. Sabres next game, as I see here. 1 second. Still 6 by the way, still 6 in the Atlantic. They currently sit 5 points. I'm not sure if this is updated or not, but either 5 or 3 points behind the Detroit Red Wings. If this hasn't been updated yet, that means they're 23, 33, and 8, or they're 22, 33, and 8 after tonight's win. I'm not sure if this has been updated yet or not. Again, sometimes it takes them a little bit to update things on Google and NHL.com and whatnot. But their next game after tonight is against the Penguins. They'll be home on Wednesday at 7:30. So that'd be an exciting game, bringing in Sidney Crosby after the trade deadline. See what that team looks like after the trade deadline. See what we're going to look like after the trade deadline. Who's going to be gone? Is Bjork gone? Is Colin Miller gone? Is Cody Eakin gone? A guy who's really played well for the Buffalo Sabres this year. One of their best face-off guy, an important penalty killer. Then you see those guys get traded, and I think maybe the return might surprise us a little bit. We'll see. I think he has value, especially in a bottom 6 role on a winning hockey team. But again, we'll see. A couple more comments here from Rakeen Davis. Hope they keep that same energy next season and finally go to the Sabres. Not the Sabres, I mean the playoffs. Yeah. I agree, Rakeen. Absolutely. Always appreciate your support. You're always constantly in the chat here whether it be on Facebook or YouTube. Really do appreciate it. And then Taylor Connors, or Cousins, sorry, Tyler Cousins. Players like Tage, though, have had amazing seasons, and Power will be coming up. Will be nice. Absolutely. Owen Power is on his way. They did just win the Big Ten championship. He's on his way here, man. As soon as that, I think as soon as that NCAA tournament is over with and a national champion is crowned, if Michigan wins, he is on his way to Buffalo. He will sign in almost no time. So that's exciting. I know Buffalo's, there's rumors that they're actively trying to find who he will play with next season as his defense partner. We'll see if that move comes before 3 p.m. tomorrow, or today, technically, or if that move might come at the draft. I don't know. I really don't think they're going to use all 3 of their first-round draft picks. I think they're going to flip one of those into a player that's going to play next season, possibly on the blue line with defenseman Owen Power, for first overall pick in the last NHL draft. So with that being said, guys, I'll hang up and listen. Remember, this is brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case over on Georgian Boulevard. Make sure you get over there on your game day or game night needs and buy yourself a beverage. Tell them 2 goalies, 1 mic from Trainwreck Sports sent you. Tell them we all said hi. And remember, if you enjoyed this, find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Show us some love with a 5-star rating. Find us on YouTube. Just search out 2 goalies, 1 mic. You'll always be updated whenever we go live with videos like these or our episodes of our podcast. Keep an eye out tomorrow. We're going to be going. We're going to go live with some trade deadline stuff. Some special guests are going to be on with us tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. And again, I appreciate the support. Get on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. It does help us quite a bit. Get noticed out there. So all the support from you guys, it really does help a lot, and I appreciate it. I really do, from deep down the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your night. Get to bed. I'm sure everybody's got to work tomorrow. I unfortunately do not, but I'll hang up and listen, and let's go Sabres.